Hello, 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 and welcome to another Win Daily Sports Show. My name is Michael Raziel. I got my man Ghost here with me, and we are back at it, breaking down this incredible Martin Luther King Day main slate here on this gorgeous Monday evening. Ghost man, how you doing, buddy?
How are you doing, bro? I'm doing great, man. I want to know how you're doing. How was your honeymoon?
I'm doing great, man. Honeymoon was incredible. Thank you so much for asking. Hung out in paradise for a few days, drank a lot, ate a lot, sat on the beach. They literally have beds hanging from trees. So my wife and I literally just laid on a bed one day, the entire day, just laid on a bed, stared out into the ocean, got in the ocean, came back out, laid back down on the bed. It was absolutely incredible, man. So wouldn't trade it for the world. Get married. I highly suggest it. Honeymoon was on. How does that sound? Good stuff. Well, we are here. There was already a bunch of basketball games on today, which was sweet. Shout out the NBA for their Martin Luther King Day slate. We had, I think, 4 games earlier. We had an early slate already of 3 games. Now we have this late 4-game slate, and Ghost and myself are here to help break it down for you. If you haven't already, make sure to smash that like button, as those YouTubers love to say. We always appreciate the extra help there. It really does help out. YouTube's got this algorithm, blah, 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 blah. It's asking for a simple click of a button. So appreciate that. Make sure to check us out, windailysports.com. We have articles going up every single day. We have an incredible projection model that we will be talking about throughout this entire thing. We are literally here for it. Please ask us as many questions as you can. We have a 7:30 start, so I know Ghost has a couple extra minutes. I love the interaction. That's my favorite part. So please ask us all the questions you have about the slate, about betting, about basketball, about DFS. We are here to help. We're going to have a couple bets for you. We are going to have a couple DFS plays for you. And we are going to have a little James Harden to the Nets talk, because that happened while I was on my honeymoon. So I'm excited to get to hear what Ghost has about that. Jimmy is already in the chat. Who are we smashing? We're smashing James Harden. Over 3.5 threes, if I'm not mistaken. Milwaukee's 3-point defense is just absolute dog shit. And James Harden is out on a mission. Kyrie is still out. We don't know what the hell's happening with him, so we'll see what happens there. But
I got a same game parlay for that one too. For
yeah,
you guys that have access to I don't even have access to FanDuel Sportsbook, and I can't even do same game parlays. So
well, hey man, I do. So I'll put it in for you. How's that sound? Shoot me $3 on Venmo, Ghost man. I'll get you anything you need. But yeah, we are here for it. We're here to have some fun, and very excited for it. So please, again, hit that like button. Make sure to check us out, windailysports.com, and make sure to be ready, because we are going to have a lot of fun today. I'm bringing up the slate right now. God, Luka Doncic, he's so incredible. All right, let's pop this bad boy in. Let's see what happens. Here we go. We got a 4-gamer. Oh, and look what we get to start with. We get to start with that game, Ghost man. Let's talk about it. Milwaukee, Brooklyn. I have some lines here. Right now, Bucks are favored by 4 on the road, and the over-under sits at 240. Oh, my goodness. That is just such an insane number. It was actually gone up. So Jason and I do the Sirius XM show. I know you were listening last night because I gave you a little shout out, but it was only at like 237 only. It was at 237.5. So I think it's pretty, it's gone up since then. So you always love to see that. Ghost man, let's start with that. What's your same game parlay? I'm kind of curious.
Harden over 3.53 is obviously shout out to Adam and Brian for ending up pointing that one out. We know that Milwaukee's 3-point defense absolutely blows, and I'm taking the Nets money line at plus. It's up to plus 140 on some books. Obviously, like I said, I don't have access to FanDuel Sportsbook, so I don't know what the exact odds there, but I see it in the plus 130 to plus 140 range. I'm grabbing the Nets money line with Harden over 3.5 threes. I can't parlay it, but you guys can.
Yeah, I'll parlay that for you. I don't have any problem with that. I am all in for it. That is fantastic. Yeah, as I said before, and Ghost is going to talk about it here now, the Milwaukee 3-point defense has been bad forever, and then they traded away a bunch of people, and now it's gotten even worse. So it's something to pay attention to. And we already got a bunch of people in the chat. Brian, what is up, man? Paul, we will get to Lakers Warriors. Appreciate you there. So talk to me a little bit. I guess the first question, we'll just start on the Nets side, talking about James Harden. So he gets traded, kind of gets his way. Unfortunately, I really was hoping we would go to the Philadelphia 76ers. That way you get your thing. I guess that was the other team. It was Ben Simmons for James Harden and a bunch of shit. So that ended up not happening. How, I guess we'll see what's up with Kyrie. He was questionable and now he's out. We don't know what the heck is really going on with him. We'll see if he plays basketball this year. That's kind of a weird speculation going around. But how do you see James Harden fitting with Kyrie, with Kevin Durant, and really with like no depth anymore, getting rid of Karis LeVert and Jared Allen? And who else? I think I got covered of a couple other guys, Torian Prince and somebody else. I think they're all gone. So how do you see these three fitting together and just playing basketball?
It's not going to work. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
Tonight it's going to work because Kyrie's not playing. Last game of work, Kyrie wasn't playing. At one point, it's not going to work. Like I give it maybe a week.
Oh wow.
before like that, and that's me being positive. Like this is it's way too much ego going on in this locker room right now. You saw what happened last game. Harden and KD both had a 37% usage rate. KD was like 36.9 something. So let's just call it an even 37. Both of them are at 37%. How does Kyrie fit into this offense now? No. You have like if you put aside the fact that KD, if you put him on any single NBA franchise, he's gonna have the ball in his hands.
Should
like that's just a guarantee. Like nobody even debates that, right? You put KD on any franchise, including the Lakers, KD is gonna have the ball in his hands. Now you have two backcourt guys who are primary ball handlers who I don't want to say cannot play off ball. Because James Harden can play off ball, obviously. Kyrie is not an off ball player. James Harden wants the ball in his hands. James Harden purposely came over to Brooklyn because he was disgruntled in Houston. I don't see this working. And on top of that, if we're looking, I don't even want to say long term. I'll fast forward 2 years. If they don't win a championship in the next 2 years, they're gonna deeply regret this trade.
Oh yeah,
KD's leaving. KD's leaving at the end of this. If they don't win a championship in the next 2 years, he's gone.
Which is weird because they obviously had to consult him, right? Like they had to have consulted. They didn't make this trade out of nowhere. They clearly went to Kevin Durant. They might have went to Kyrie Irving. I think Kyrie Irving's kind of out and disgruntled. I think we obviously know he's got a lot of stuff going on. I wouldn't be surprised if the reason he kind of started to go rogue is because the James Harden trade really started to get into the works a little bit. And that's kind of why he's been like a little flighty recently, a little bit more than what's happened. But I don't know, man, you put three guys that are all that absolutely incredible together. They're all smart. I mean, Kevin Durant is now the voice of reason. Could like, let's just like take a step back and just say that for a second. Again, I know we know Kyrie's got stuff going on. We know everyone's got their own shit, but I mean, if Kevin Durant's the voice of reason, I think there's some stuff going on. I don't care about the money involved. The Nets owner who just bought them a couple years ago, I think, dude's got more money than God. So I don't give a fuck, dude. Spend all your money, do whatever you got to do. But you're right. In 2 years, James Harden's contract's up. Kevin Durant can opt out and Kyrie can opt out if I'm not mistaken. So it's just like, all right, well, you literally traded away the rest of your future for these 2 years. Now, if they win once, 100% worth it and nobody cares. If they get close and those guys want to stick around, 100% worth it and nobody cares. If they all leave after 2 years, this is just the Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett trade all over again. Except, I mean, it's better because you got three of the best players in the NBA, not two dudes that are like super. And Jason Terry. I'm sorry, two dudes and Jason Terry. But it is what it is. All right, let's get back to the slate a little bit. I know we got a bunch of people in the chat. What's up, Brian? Appreciate you. Junior's wondering Greek Freak time. I mean, the game's going to be high. We got Jimmy asking about Dante Vincenzo. Oh, man, I love it. Ghost loves talking Dante. Paul thinks that the Nets will get out after the second round. I don't know. I think they'll get to the Eastern Conference Finals, depending on the
whenever they match up on Indiana, they lose in 6.
Yikes.
Well, so no matter what the seeding looks like, when they match up on Indiana, they lose in 6.
Jesus, that's not great. Adam, look us back in the saddle. I missed you too, buddy. Thank you. Shane, I guess Shane put in that same game parlay, bet 66 to win 223. Curious where the 66 comes from. That's an odd units number. I love it. Do you, man? Do you? Just kind of curious. So I like that. And Brian, best forward at 3K. We'll get there, Brian. Let's just go over this Milwaukee Brooklyn game for a second. So talk to me. I mean, the highest total on the slate by far. I think the next closest is 227. So Jesus, is this just one of the game where you just try and load up on all of these stars? I know you and Brian and Adam have been talking about how can we fit Luka and two of these guys in there? Like legitimately, is that what we're trying to do tonight?
Yeah, that's we're all in on that strategy. All three of us are on the same page with that, and it's doable. We've been tossing around some lineups together. Obviously, we discuss value plays, and at the end of the day, we always say like, hey, we're just going to wait for them all to update because at the end of the day, we can throw names out there as much as we want, but we know that from now until tip, things are going to change because that's just the nature of NBA DFS in general, let alone in a year where we're filled with coronavirus and people testing positive as they're throwing up warm-up shots 30 minutes before the game. So things are going to change between now and 7:30 lock, but right now it's 100% our strategy. I know a lot of guys are going Harden and Kevin Durant with Giannis. Personally, I might end up swapping Harden for Luka, but I'm going to have 3 of the 4 of them in my main build. That's 100% sure.
That's crazy. It is crazy. It's easier to do. We got Adam. It's easier to do Harden, Luka, and Greek on FanDuel. Yeah. It's easier to do everything on FanDuel, Adam. We know that. Come on. But no, I love it. And I guess this is, I mean, Brian must just be crying tears of joy because this is the ultimate Stars and Scrubs lineup right now. Brian, if you are out there listening to us at 2 Lock Sports, make sure to go follow him. Oh, and make sure to follow me at Michael Brazil 1 and this guy at DFS_Ghost. We need to find that guy. And we need to make him give you. You can give him the underscore. I think he needs it more than you do. But I guess we'll go to the next question. I think it was who asked about Dante Vincenzo. Jimmy asked, "How do you feel? Is there anything else in this game? Is the value going to be there? I mean, that Nets bench is so thin. This Milwaukee bench is so thin. There's really nobody else. These guys aren't all going to play 40 minutes, right? I find that hard to believe."
Yeah, this is a spot where if Kyrie was playing, even though I absolutely love this game from the beginning, like I started writing yesterday the moment Jay and I were talking about what we were going to discuss on Sirius, obviously, and stuff like that. So I was like, hey, I have to research regardless for my article. So let me see where we're going. And I started writing and I was like, this is the build. I've been on this for, probably 24 hours now. But then I had this little asterisk beside every note. And I was like, if Kyrie plays, this goes out the window. Mm-hmm. If Kyrie plays, this goes out the window. And if Kyrie plays, that goes out the window. Kyrie's not playing. So it's really hard for me to end up targeting the mid-range here. The one guy that I do like in a spot like this would be Jrue Holliday, somebody that thrives in an up-paced matchup where, he's not exactly the best defensive player. Jrue Holliday is actually really inconsistent on defense. He could either be a first-team All-NBA defensive player or he could look like Hassan Whiteside out there and just look completely lost. Like I don't know what it is with him. He shows up some nights and he looks like he's, the lockdown guard that everybody thinks he could be. And then there's other times where you could just exploit him like crazy. So I'm looking more so at his offensive upside in a matchup like this where, he's averaging over 2 steals per game this season. He's done it throughout his entire career. This game is going to be fast, ridiculously fast, 0 defense and a ton of buckets in transition. That's an environment that Jrue Holiday will thrive in. Easier for me to get exposure on FanDuel, obviously, because I'm pretty sure if you slide in Jrue Holiday exactly like what you did, it mathematically doesn't even work because lowest salary on DraftKings is $3,000. So you'd have to come off one of the studs, in that case, I want to come off one of them for Luka, who's actually more expensive than Harden or KD. So it makes it even worse. So he's out for me on DK right now. But if you are going that balanced build and taking a bit of a risk, I honestly do say that because it is a bit of a risk tonight because all 3 of these other guys on the screen have 70+ point upside in a matchup like this.
Like easy 70 point. Again, the over-under sits at 240. The last time we saw this was that Bulls-Wizards game, if I'm not mistaken, and that hit like 270 or some shit.
It was the Hawks.
Brooklyn Hawks, yeah.
One, and it hit. It was just under. I'm pretty sure it hit like 290. I'm pretty sure it was just under 300.
Yep, that was nuts.
So
you told everyone to take the over. You said don't even worry about it. Just smash it and you'll be fine. Are we smashing over 240 in this? Because that's such an insane number. I'm in if you are, but that's such an insane number.
You know what? If Adam has this trademark, it's the pizza money bet of the day, like what we call it. Obviously, we have our core 4 and pretty much some nights. The one thing that we all emphasize is that you can't force a bet. On some nights you can be having 10 to 12 plus units on the table, whereas other nights you might have half of a unit. You might have 0. Like if there's nothing good out there, there's nothing good. When we're talking about pizza bet money, where you end up throwing a couple bucks and saying hey, let me see if this hits, parlay Harden over 3.5 threes with the Nets money line with the over.
Jesus,
I'm down with that.
FanDuel,
put $5 on it. Put pizza money. If
you do it on FanDuel, all you need is 2 of them to hit, and then they give you your money back up to like $10. And I think that
there we go.
I think that would work out pretty good. So let's hop over to the comment section for a little bit. So I guess, how do you feel about Dante Vincenzo? It doesn't sound like you're very interested in him, but I just want to give Jimmy, give him his due.
On FanDuel, it works a bit more. He's really cheap on FanDuel, and you won't really find somebody in that price range that's going to play 30 plus minutes on this slate. For a slate that we're starving for value at the time that we're live right now, but obviously things are going to change in an hour and a half. But if the slate were to lock right now, it is a slate where we're starving for value, and over on FanDuel, he's dirt cheap. So getting the 30 plus minutes in a game where there's going to be no defense and it's ridiculously fast paced. Yeah, I'm okay with DiVincenzo. On DraftKings though, I'm out.
I love it. I love it. Adam, appreciate you. Only psychos bet the under. Adam, please. I wasn't gonna bet the under. I was just wondering, should I or should I not bet the over? I think that's always just the question. Interested.
That's the only question. No.
Yeah, it's do I bet the over or do I not bet at all? That's I've bet unders before. It's the least fun bet in the world.
Yeah,
you're winning until you're losing, but it's also just it feels so dirty not rooting for fun. Like I watch sports because I want to have fun.
I remember we had one, and we were actually texting each other too because we ended up going 5 for 5 that night, and the one and only under that we ended up taking was Daniel Tice was like a ridiculously high number, and I was like, okay, that's the one under that I'm okay taking. And I was watching, and I was like, you know what, this is a surefire bet. I was so confident in it, and he ended up having like 2 points and 0 rebounds in the first quarter. I was like, okay, we're locked in, and I was like, this just sucks. You're cheering for no offense. Like, no, we don't do unders.
That's just crazy. I don't want any of that. Ben, what's up, buddy? Play Nets value or no for cash?
No.
Okay. Ben then follows it up. Drew Holiday or Oladipo? DK cash.
We're gonna talk about Depot. We're gonna talk. Depot has me intrigued, and I'm really happy DraftKings added him to the slate. But again, with the way that my build is shaping up on DraftKings, but on FanDuel it's completely different. Like there's one thing that we always emphasize is that FanDuel and DraftKings are both completely different on a nightly basis. And tonight it's a prime example of that. Your build looks way different on FanDuel tonight than it would on DraftKings. I mean, obviously you just saw what Adam just posted that you could get Luka, Giannis, and another one of these studs, and probably a guy like Drew Holiday or a guy like Oladipo, and any one of these guys. The most expensive center on FanDuel tonight alone is $5,500. So that alone when your pay up option is Brook Lopez or a 20 minutes of Montrezl Harrell, like at that point, I might take a $3,500 guy that's inactive just to be able to jam all the studs. I obviously don't do that, but I'm saying like it's a realistic possibility. Like what good do you get by paying? Okay, we'll take the shooting guard example. Oladipo he's just under $3,000 cheaper than James Harden, so it's not exactly the best example. But let's say even Depot versus Zach Levine. If Brook Lopez or Montrezl Harrell put up 20 to 25 points, which realistically for them, that's pretty much their target range. These are not guys that are going to put up 50 burgers. You know what I mean? So is it worth it that Zach Levine might outscore Oladipo by 25 and you just completely punt that position? It's something that I'm entertaining right now on FanDuel.
I like it. And it's a 4-game slate. It's not like there's that many games. There's not that many plays. Like if you want to get Luka and Harden and Giannis.
Yeah, you play a guy like Marcus Gasol on FanDuel, hope that he gets 2-3 blocks right there. That's 9 points, and I could guarantee you that guys like Brook Lopez or Montrezl Harrell, you're not going to say, "Oh man, I missed the 60-point Montrezl Harrell or Brook Lopez game." Like that, it's just not going to happen.
I love it. Let's hop over to Brian. Best forward at 3K. I'm assuming DraftKings, but that's because FanDuel kind of sucks. But Luka, Harden, KD, OG. Only 3K for forward and utility.
Josh Green. Check the model, but the number one I could tell you because me and Brian and Adam have been refreshing every 30 seconds there and checking. Josh Green's probably still high up there.
Yes, I'm looking at it right now. He is kind of high up there. Big T, what's up with you, man?
What's up, Big T?
Pleasure to have you back. Pleasure to be back. So I think that part's important. Brian, Luka, Fred VanVleet, I think. FVV.
Yeah.
Jeff Green, OG, KD at center. At center, every lineup. What is DK? What? Oh, KD.
Yeah, What? Why is KD center eligible?
Because they don't have another center on the team other than DeAndre Jordan. And he sucks.
Why is he center eligible? Anyways, whatever.
Whatever. Fine. He's tall, I think. Right?
I'll take KD and Giannis being center eligible, honestly, like this, because I want both of them in my lineup, and I don't want to play 6K Montrezl Harrell. So exactly. I'm perfectly fine with it on a slate like this. And plus, I much rather that than FanDuel switching positions every slate. So
that is frustrating. How do you like this one? PJ Tucker, Josh Green. I guess he's looking at the model.
RC, we're gonna talk about him. It's that it might be the Win Daily special tonight. We're gonna talk about him. The one guy that I would not play is PJ Tucker. As long as I'm still breathing, I won't play PJ Tucker in DFS.
Yes, Ghost doesn't like players that just run. He needs players to actually.
If it was a track and field slate, then yeah, you gotta lock in PJ Tucker. Robert Covington too. They'd honestly battle it out for MVP of that league. That's for sure.
And they were both on the Rockets last year. Isn't that fantastic? All right, so let's hop over to this Dallas-Toronto game. And as you heard me call them last night, I'm sorry, guys, they're the Tampa Bay Raptors. We have the Raptors favored by 4.5 at home. Over/under sits at a nice 221.5. That's or 221. It's actually the second.
You say the Raptors are favored in this game?
Yeah, 4.5. If I'm being honest, I already took the Mavs +5, and that number has now come down. I took it on.
You already knew I was going to text you that when we got off here. You knew that when you told that to me, I was going to get off and text you and say, "Hey, bet the money line right now."
You should have money line. No, I took the point. I'll take the points. I know you're a little you're a disgruntled Raptors fan, so I understand. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Mavs win. But I'll take the points. I'll double my money. I'll be happy about it. I got them at 5, so it looks kind of nice right now. I can't find my bets. There we go. Yeah, I got Mavs at 5. I mean, it wasn't even that juicy either. It was like -110. So I'll take it. Yeah, talk to me about this game. I mean, first, everybody, please go out there and take the Mavs. +4.5 at least right now. What do you? I mean, after Luka, is KP playing?
He's expected to play.
Hell yeah.
This is what I've been following throughout the day. And Brian and Adam were actually the one that ended up texting me as I was coming out of a work meeting. They were like, "Hey, KP is expected to play." So that was something that I don't think anybody in this industry was really expecting because, coming off a pretty serious injury where he missed a lot of time, it's their first back-to-back. He played a fairly decent amount of minutes last night. I wasn't expecting him to play in a game like this, but it seems like he's good to go. So, but again, and it's NBA DFS. Anything could change between now and the next 80 minutes here before lock. So, if KP plays, again, I'm out on DraftKings just because I'm like, we talk about planting our flag. Like my flag is not even in 1, 2, 3 places. Like it's literally I'm all in on the build that we started the show with. So you guys know exactly the way my build is starting. And then if you end up checking out the projection model at windailysports.com, you'll be able to pretty much figure out where I'm going with the rest of my lineup because there's only so many options that you can end up taking there. But it could be limited. That's a great point. That brings up right. So it's exactly what I was saying. 33 minutes, man. I was not expecting him to play whatsoever in this game at all. But I honestly don't think that they need him to play another 33 to even take this game.
Really?
I really don't.
You just hate these Raptors so much, man.
Bro, they are so bad on D. Like I've been writing this on every article and I'm like, play. Okay, so if I could summarize the Raptors season, it's that Aaron Baines or Alex Len starts. They play, like by the time I end up going to get food, come back to the couch, they're already out of the game. And Chris Boucher's in because they're down by 12. Then they make a bit of a run. Chris Boucher either gets tired naturally because they keep him out there for 14 minutes straight, or he grabs 1 or 2 quick fouls and they're like, "Oh my God, we can't play Aaron Baines for 20 minutes, so we got to take him out." And then they go down by 12 again. Chris Boucher comes back in and they make a run. Like it's literally lather, rinse, repeat for my Raptors right now. Like it's actually a colossal disaster. They're so bad in the paint that now if KP is good to go, that's really scary. Who's guarding KP? Yeah, exactly like what you just did is exactly like what you just did is Chris Boucher trying to look up at KP. Like who's guarding this man? There's no chance. Like they're gonna get absolutely obliterated in the paint, and now you're leaving Luka one-on-one on the outside against Lowry and Van Vliet. Like great defenders. Don't get me wrong. I love my boys, but like
it's Luka.
You can't be guarding Luka one. The guy had 4 out of 6. Okay, 4 out of 6 triple doubles in the last 6 games. In games 5 and 6, he fell 1 assist short and 1 rebound short. Not like combined. Like he one game he finished 9 rebounds. The other game he finished 9 assists. He would have had 6 triple doubles in a row.
That's insane.
Like this is the Luka that everyone was saying, MVP favorite. Not a lot of value in that futures bet, but again, like this is what people were expecting. and this is what we're getting now. And now you're going up against a Raptors team that is just completely lost out there. So I don't know. They're going to be in tough tonight. This is going to be tough. If KP, if we get confirmation that KP is limited in any way, I'm again on DraftKings. I'm going to be out, but on FanDuel you could grab guys like Willie Cauley-Stein and James Johnson as well. This is also a little revenge narrative situation here for James Johnson. If you really want to dig deep, he used to play for the Raptors too. So this is a guy that I love playing this guy on FanDuel. At 3 points per steal and 3 points per block, he finishes a ton of games with 2 of each, 3 of each, and that's where alone, all of a sudden he starts getting a little active on the glass when KP comes out, and him and Willie Cauley-Stein both find a way to like 7 to 8 rebounds. None of them are going to go like Andre Drummond mode where they end up grabbing 20, but they get there where they hit like this 6 to 8 range, and then he's going to get a couple layups. He'll get to the free throw line where he's not a great free throw shooter. He's not going to go Curry mode where he ends up going 15 for 15 from the line, but the volume is there where he can definitely surpass value that alone. So on FanDuel, James Johnson is somebody that I'm going to be keeping an eye out, especially if we get confirmation that KP is limited. On the flip side, if you get confirmation that KP is not limited whatsoever, he is way too cheap on FanDuel. Way too cheap.
That's good news. Yeah, and as you said, he's going to kind of have his way, it seems like, with the Raptors, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Why not? If you're so angry at them this year, why don't you just denounce them and say that they are the Tampa Bay Raptors? Just say it. Say it, Ghost. Say it.
Next question.
All right. Next question. Here we go. We got David. What's up, David? For FanDuel, sitting at Luka, Burke, Harden, Brown, Harris, Tate, ABC, Johnson, and Jordan.
Yeah, I love that. That's the build where you end up getting Luka, Harden, and Giannis, and like your other pieces are, I don't even want to say they're not bad. Like these are guys that are all going to get 20 plus minutes. I'm a big Jayshawn Tate guy. Obviously, we got him at 1% ownership and one of the earliest slates of the season, and that was a lot of fun. So I'm a big fan of what he could do on the wing there for Houston. And Joe Harris is, I'd be surprised if he even took 10 shots tonight. But again, you want guys in high paced games, good game environment with a high total, no defense, a lot of scoring. Joe Harris fits the bill.
Gotta love Joe Harris. Yeah, I mean he's gonna be, and his 3 prop is only 2.5, and it's like -1, like 12. It's really not even like that crazy. It's not like one of those -150. So maybe that's same game parlay. We're just building it up.
We're adding to it.
That's the way. That's the fun we like to have here at Win Daily Sports. Brian, but the model loves PJ.
Who's PJ? PJ Tucker?
Yeah, you know exactly.
Wait till it recalculates. You'll see.
Yeah,
I end up putting the PJ Tucker multiplier in there, and then it rounds it down to like 0.5, and we'll be good.
No, the multiplier. It's really just a fraction, a really, really small fraction. This is a good question. With Brunson back, how much does that hurt Burke? Good question.
A lot, actually. A lot. That's a good question. The minutes will still be there, and even his volume will still be there. It's more so just that the fact that he doesn't have the ball in his hands, he's not trying to find even again, like, okay, well, I'll use an earlier game today. Like, for example, like D'Angelo Russell is one of those guys that can run point, albeit not all that well, but he can still run point. But when he plays off ball, he's dangerous. He can knock down a 3. He could run around like fairly well on the offensive side of the ball. Trey Burke is not really that guy. I rather have him have the ball in his hands. But again, the minutes are going to be there. He'll likely play 20 plus in a game like this again. They're still dealing with a bunch of COVID injuries, and especially with the Raptors playing small, Dallas actually it worked. Like, I don't want to say it works out with their injuries, but losing guys like Dwight Powell and Maxi Kleber and Dorian Finney-Smith, like, it doesn't impact them as much in a game like this where the tallest Raptors player is like 5'6". So they could run a backcourt where it's Luka with Burke, and you could even throw Brunson out there and run all 3 of them together. I don't think they're going to do that, because then you're going to have to overlap some minutes. And then if you end up taking out Brunson and then he's replacing Luka, then you don't really have like that primary ball handler if you run all 3 of them at once. So I don't really think they're going to do all that. But again, they could kind of run this 3-man rotation where Burke and Brunson are pretty much alternating between sharing the court with Luka, and not be worried about being vulnerable on the wing because of how small Toronto plays.
I love it. Good question, Shane. Very cool. And Paul is just letting us know Jokic is averaging a triple double. Jesus Christ.
Of course.
You'll love it. You'll love to see it. Let's hop over to the next game. So this was supposed to be a 5-game slate, but the Miami Detroit game, if I'm not mistaken, that one got postponed.
That one, it was actually supposed to be at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
That one was supposed to be on the afternoon slate, and then
Okay.
it ended up they're saying like it's possible that it gets postponed to 8 p.m.
Yeah.
And everyone's tagging, FanDuel support and DraftKings assist on Twitter, and they're like, hey, are we moving this to the main slate? Like, what's going on? And people are like, play it at your own risk kind of thing. So I respect the decision. It was easy to fade that game regardless, based on how fast and how little defense there was in Minnesota, Atlanta. But that definitely turned that slate upside down. And now we're hearing that it might get played tomorrow. So I don't know what's going on with that one.
Hopefully everyone's okay and everything is figured out. I did hear it was supposed to get postponed to 8, but it doesn't look like that's going to be happening tonight. So let's talk a little bit about this Houston-Chicago matchup. This is honestly the total seems kind of low for me, at least, considering these teams. The Rockets are actually favored by 2. So it was only 1 last night, if I'm not mistaken, when Jay and I were doing the Sirius XM show. You can hear Win Daily Sports Saturdays and Sundays, 5 to 7 moving forward on the SiriusXM Fantasy Sports channel. Ghost is on there occasionally. Tulok's on there occasionally. Rocker, I think, was on there last week. Fucking Rocker. He was on there, so it's always fun. Rock, I hope you're watching. Wish me happy birthday. We have the Rockets, as I said, favored by 2. The total sits at 225.5. I thought it would be higher. Still a solid total, but I just thought it would be higher. I think this is where we find all our value, right? James Harden is gone. John Wall, I think, is out, right? Yeah. Otto Porter Jr. is out. I mean, do we just lock button Christian Wood? I mean, it's hard with the build that we created from that Milwaukee-Brooklyn game, but Christian Wood's a nice pivot tonight, right?
Yeah, I mean, we were discussing it where if this was a bigger slate where, Kyrie might have been in, Christian Wood's ownership would probably be double or triple of what it's coming in at right now. Right, so even at $9K, it's a hefty price tag to pay. I mean, considering KD is only $1,000 more and Giannis is only $1,500 more, and you get not only the bigger name, but you also get guys in a better game environment overall. But this is a game where Christian Wood could really take advantage. I absolutely love attacking the Chicago front court. We did it for the past 2 years, and there's no way I'm changing it now because it's the exact same duo of Lauri Markkanen and Wendell Carter Jr. that are up there, and I absolutely love attacking these guys. Christian Wood's been attacking the glass way stronger now that Boogie's been out of the lineup the past couple of games too. For me, it really depends. If Boogie's playing, I feel like it limits his rebounding upside just enough for me to feel a bit more confident in the fade. But if not, if you're running multiple lines on DraftKings, especially in a 3-max contest, this is where, I would run one lineup with, you could take 2 different routes. I would go Harden with Giannis and then figure out your third stud. KD with Giannis, third stud, and then you end up going all 3 of them together. If you don't want to go all in on Giannis, and you want to make a third lineup where it's like, hey, I don't want to say I want nothing to do with that Brooklyn Milwaukee game, but let me just grab 1 out of the 3, and then you could end up pivoting to Christian Wood. But now that we get Adam telling us that Boogie's in, I'm 100 times more confident that the fade is not a spot that I want to do. I want to target the guys that have 70 to 75 point upside, even though Christian Wood has 55 to 60 point upside in a matchup like this. It doesn't come to Giannis, KD, and Harden, who could legitimately combine for 210 plus points. Honestly,
I'm freaking here for it. And thank you, Adam. Adam also has THJs in as well. So shout out to Lock for that.
Yeah. So at that point, I would limit my exposure to Burke even more. So for whoever asked about Trey Burke before, that's more usage that ends up getting shifted there.
100%. Big T's wishing me a happy birthday. Rocker is here. He's wishing me a happy birthday. And Adam coming back. Damn it, Adam, you're incredible. KP is in as well. We knew he was gonna play. But it looks like, hey, we'll see what happens.
Grab that Mavs money line. Don't take the points. Grab the money line.
I just took the points. I'll make this one easy. I lost a few bets yesterday, so let me make it a little easier on myself. So I will do that same game parlay with Harden over. I already took 3.5 threes on Harden. I already took the over on that. But then on FanDuel, I'll parlay that with the Nets money line, the over, and 3.5 threes for Harden. That's just too much fun. All right. So anything, I guess now with some of that news, I know that there is a lot of let's hop over to the Chicago side for a second before we get into all the potential value plays, because I know the model is pretty ecstatic with some of the value plays over here. I'm just refreshing it again, just so I have the most up-to-date information, because as you guys know, it updates a lot. So make sure to get on that grind with us. How are you feeling about Kobe White and Zach Levine? I mean, Kobe White's been shooting the piss out of the ball. It doesn't always go in, but he's shooting the ball like crazy. So I think that's,
the
that's what we
volume
like
is
to see.
there. The volume is there, right? So like this is a spot where, we even had people like kind of saying like, man, are we really playing Trae Young? Like he's been struggling this year. And I'm like, look, there's going to be a game where Trae Young goes for 70 and I'm going to be there for it.
Mm-hmm.
And last game he went nuts. Today he went nuts. Like now you're going to see when we had $8,500 to $87 Trae Young, I didn't even look. I put him in my lineup. Like it's just regardless of game environment, regardless of the matchup, like this is a player that can drop 50 plus DK, and that's being modest on any single slate that he plays, no matter who he plays. So that to me, like being in that price range, I was like, man, like you have to have some form of exposure to him. It's almost like on one hand, I favor that for Kobe White based on his volume alone, and on the other hand, I don't at all because of his price. Like based on the way that he's performing, or at least just in last game alone, his price should be his price should be a little bit lower for me. I'm not really all that confident paying 7,600 for a guy like Kobe White. Like Drew Holiday is cheaper than him on a say like this. So the pivot for me there would be Drew Holiday. I'm gonna have 0 Kobe White tonight, but again, this is a spot where I absolutely love Zach Levine. This is a game that, if Brooklyn, Milwaukee were, I don't even want to say not on the slate, if they were just not playing each other, this is a game where I would have so much Zach Levine. And just because of the fact that, it's mathematically possible to end up getting Luka or Harden or KD with Giannis and then another one of the Brooklyn Nets guys, Zach Levine's kind of the odd man out there for me. But this is a game that there's going to be, again, no defense. It's fast paced. Like this is exactly the environment that Zach Levine thrives in. And on top of that, this is a game like maybe 1 out of like possibly 5 all season that Chicago might actually win. So it's a game where Levine could go absolutely bonkers. You know what I mean? Like we saw what he did against the likes of OKC and even the Clippers. Like it's 2 different extremes. Like we had him against OKC. The man drops 35 and they still end up losing. And then they end up playing the Clippers, drops 45 and they still end up losing. So like this is a game where he's like, you know what, I can go out there, drop 45 and actually win a game maybe by like 1 or 2, but at least it's a win, one of like maybe 5 that we're going to have this season. And he could, like puff out his chest and say like, you know what, I carried this team yet again, like I do every single other night. So he deserves way better situation than what he's playing in right now. But sitting there at 9,500, it's a very hefty price tag to pay. Very, very hefty price tag to pay. But in a game environment like this, where you would need him to drop 35 to 40 raw points for him to actually hit that 60 plus ceiling, it's a consideration that I would make should Milwaukee, Brooklyn not have been mathematically possible.
You love the math aspect of it. And you were talking a little bit about it before. Victor Oladipo, I'm pretty sure this is his first start, right? With the Houston Rockets. Came over in that trade. What's his price? I missed it. I don't remember. 7,500.
75 on both sides. The exact same price on both sides. Pretty rare that we end up seeing that.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Shout out. Well, let's do our handshake, right? FanDuel DraftKings handshake. How do you feel about Victor Oladipo in this new offense with a bunch of players that have barely played basketball before? Like this is an interesting spot. Like, do you think he gets those 36 minutes and his usage is just through the roof, or do you think this is more like, let's just kind of get you integrated, see what happens, and if you do well, you do well. If not, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. So this is a spot where the organization as a whole could kind of take it 2 different ways. They could tread cautiously with Victor Oladipo because they're knowingly trying to trade him for even more assets. They're on their Sam Presti kind of impression right now, right? So this is a spot where they could say, hey, we don't want him to get injured. Knock on wood, I say that. Never want to wish that upon any player. Or they could play him 36 minutes, let him go bonkers, and drive his trade value up even more. I think they go with the latter more so than the former. I mean, they want to increase his trade value. And this is a guy that had a near 27% usage rate in an offense in Indiana that already featured Domantas Sabonis, who everybody knows I absolutely love. If you
love him.
Read even just a single article or watched a single show, I mentioned Domantas Sabonis and Tyler Hero every single show.
Pretty much, yeah.
So in an offense that had Sabonis and Malcolm Brogdon getting a 27% usage rate and already being that much involved, he's going to be the guy in Houston. There's nobody out there that can really steal touches from him. I mean, will Eric Gordon likely chalk up, probably 15 plus shots tonight? Yeah, absolutely. Is Jayshawn Tate going to attack the glass? Yeah, he will. Christian Wood's going to go out there and do his thing. But when we're looking at this backcourt situation, there's no Malcolm Brogdon. And even coming off the bench, a guy like TJ McConnell, who loves to have the ball in his hands, like, there's nobody out there in Houston like that. I mean, who are we talking about? Mason Jones? Like, we're not really discussing guys that, they're legitimate threats to a player of Victor Oladipo's status. So if you're playing over on FanDuel at 7,500, I think he's worth taking a flyer on. And I think a lot of people are going to end up being scared where, they could take that route and say, is this guy going to play 5 minutes and then just sit out? Or is it going to be a Christian Wood night? But like, it's a spot where I could see Houston letting him go absolutely bonkers. And if you think I love attacking the Chicago front court, I love attacking their backcourt even more so.
Chicago's bad. I think we all know that. At least they play fast. I mean, it's better to be exciting and bad than just to be bad. So I guess that's something. All right. So what about, and I know, I obviously read all the articles here at Win Daily Sports. That's like, part of my job. What I hear there's a lot of value in this game because there's nobody on that Rockets team. Again, we have John Wall is out. We did hear that Boogie is coming back, so I think that is something important to pay attention to. Daniel House is out. So, I mean, it's just a laundry list of people that are hurt. Where do we find that value? Because again, what we were talking about before, and I'm going to probably bring it up in a little bit just to show if you get Giannis, who also, by the way, looking at the projections, Giannis is top 3 in value. He has 11 or a 10-4 price tag. Like, that's absolutely insane. So make sure you have Giannis in your lineups, guys. I think that part's pretty important. But where is all the value? Where are these 3K punt plays that we can get all those incredible studs in the game?
We're going to scroll down a little bit, all the way down to 3K, exactly like what you said. And we have Arcia Diacono. And people are probably doing that Snoop Dogg gif where they're like, who are you talking about right now? This is a guy that's going to be first man off the bench for Chicago, and they are not scared to use him at all. This team blows, so they don't care. Kobe White, Zach Levine's not only the future, they're the present. They don't care. They're going to play this guy, and he's been doing well in the limited amount of time that he's had. Projected for just under 20 minutes there. I'll give a little bit of an inside scoop of what the model looks like on the back end and what we're able to see or what I'm able to see on it. Projected just under 20 minutes. It's like 19.6 something. This is a guy that can hit 7 or 8 times his price tonight. I love this spot for him. I never thought I'd get there, but if it lets me get James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Giannis, I don't care what he puts up. It's not like that. That's one thing that, and I've actually gotten requests to end up, kind of make a video or a little tutorial on how to use them all. This is a spot where you could use it in a bunch of different ways, and it's probably going to be a long video, but one of the ways that I'll get into without diving into too much detail here is that, it's not about the points or the value that these type of players hit. It's more so what it allows to let you do with the rest of your build. If this guy hits 15 points and you're like, oh man, he doesn't have the flame emoji beside him on DraftKings, bro, who cares? He let you get James Harden, Giannis, and Kevin Durant in a lineup that they might combine for 210 points. If you take a look at the early slate today, main slate's going to be way different than the early slate, granted, but same kind of situation where people are targeting 2 games. The third game's kind of iffy on it. Like, and the cash line was 270. You have 3 players in your lineup that are going to combine for 210 plus, possibly. Now you have 5 guys that, if they hit 15, and that's very modest. That's exactly what the scenario that I was saying, like, oh man, that's a low expectation for them. You're almost getting to that 300 range already. You're at like 295. So this is a spot where you're not only getting to the cash line, you're sailing over it just because of what these guys let you do with the rest of your build, right? So we joke about it as much as possible, saying like stars and scrubs, and we laugh about it, and we know that Brian absolutely loves builds like this and stuff like that, but it's proven to win tournaments, and that's exactly what we're here to do. We're not here to min cash. I don't want to pay $7,000 for Rashawn Holmes. I don't want to do that. Okay, he's going to go out there and get his 25 to 30. I don't care. That's not what's going to win me $100,000. We're not here to min cash. I'm not here to play 7K Harrison Barnes. Like, I don't want to do that. Like yesterday we said, if you make a lineup without Nikola Jokic, your lineup will be dead in the water. He was, and that was us saying if he gets in that 55 to 60 range. because he will be by far the highest raw scorer on the slate. Forget about his price. Forget about 5x, 6x, all this math, this and that. The Zach Galifianakis meme where everybody's doing all the calculations, but forget about that. Just look about the raw points that he's going to put up. You needed Nikola Jokic, and then on top of that, he went for 70 plus. So it's like, okay, and there wasn't a single lineup yesterday, or I'd be shocked if there was a lineup yesterday that cashed that didn't have Nikola Jokic in it. So this is a spot again where tonight, if you have Giannis going for 65, 70, it doesn't matter what these 3K guys do. You need to be able to get these players that, because a good game for this 3K punt, you'd be happy if you got 20. You'd be like, oh man, my 3K punt got 20. Flip the script and do that with a $10,000 player and say, what if he gets 70? That is way more valuable to your lineup than this 3K guy getting the extra 5 points. Me saying I'm okay with him getting 15 versus somebody being disappointed and you being happy with 20 to 21. I don't care because I just got a 20 to 25 point edge by playing Giannis in my lineup when he gets 70.
Exactly. You have to still get there, right? You still need those points. It's not like they disappear. It's not because you have a bunch of flames you win. You need those points. And sometimes, I mean, I don't think Trae Young had flames today, but he still had 50, almost 60 DraftKings points, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So you clearly still needed him in some capacity because you had to get there. So I think that part is pretty important. And as Gus has been saying, there's a bunch of dudes here in this game specifically that we can find that are cheap. And also, just on a side note, I don't know if Adam's still here. Adam will remember this. Did you see that pass from Jokic last night? He's just standing there, just kind of holding the ball, and like one guy cuts, and he's like, "No, wait, I don't want to pass to you." Kind of like itches his face, hanging out. Oh no, I don't want to pass to you. And then like the defense just kind of
back there like Tom Brady. He's just
and freaking the one defender over on the wing just like takes a step in when he fakes, and he just sees a guy, just whips it across the court for an absolutely wide open three. I don't remember who drained it, but that's not the fun part of the play. It was I can't remember who it was on Twitter. Shout out whoever it was. It's like, oh, we're gonna just play water polo now with this guy because he's literally just sitting there, just like no, bam, just finds an open guy. It's so fun. And Adam is there. Oh, you put it in the chat. I'm sorry, Adam, I didn't see it. Oh, Discord chat. Oh yeah, you should come hang out on our Discord chat. WinDailySports.com/chat. 7 free days in that expert Discord chat where you get to hang out with us, talk about sports, and make some money. Who doesn't love it? Who doesn't love it? Any more? Do you want to give us one more for the people out there in case for a nice little value play, or how you feeling?
Check the model.
Check the model. There we go, baby. You love to see it. You love to see it. All right. So we have a couple questions. Adam is still here, obviously. Mavs and Nets money line. God damn it, Adam. God damn it. I'm going to make so much money. I can't wait.
Harden over 3.5 threes.
No, that's too many. I can't keep parlaying everything with that. Okay, one at a time. I'll parlay those two together.
Like if we're actually talking like, managing a bankroll, like I personally hate parlays, but it's just fun when you end up getting these same game parlays and, you make a 3 or 4 one and it hits in the first quarter because James Harden goes absolutely bonkers and Giannis is going bonkers on the other side. And you'll love to see it.
You love Jim Harden. You'll love it. Also, man, was he wearing a fat suit in Houston? Because, like, yes. I mean, like he had to have been, right? Like, that's insane. I love it. I love it. Keith, what's up, buddy? My dog's name's Keith.
The Caruso. Caruso. Oh, baby.
All right. Holliday, Caruso. Man, haven't heard his name all year. Harden, Micklemore, Katie, Joe Harris. It looks like Giannis. No, not Trae Young. T Young. Who's the other T Young?
Thad Young, probably.
Thad Young, big Thad, and it's all in cash.
So this is what I was saying. Where in cash, definitely not. You have to lose one of your studs. Then I'm going a little bit more balanced. So make sure you hop into the chat to see where the ownership lies there. But you can't be playing guys like Caruso and Thad Young and even Marc Gasol in cash. That's for sure. Maybe Marc Gasol if center's really bad, but if someone's pulling 40+% ownership on center, you're gonna have to lock them in on FanDuel. That's for sure. This is a lineup where this is a good example of how DraftKings is completely different than FanDuel. Kevin Durant, I would be a little underweight on FanDuel tonight because of how god awful point guard is. I would just lock in Luka. Like it's really bad when the second man in, you're considering guys like Caruso and Trey Burke and Jalen Brunson because you don't want to pay $8,000 for Kyle Lowry or you can't play Dennis Schroeder or any of these guys. I mean, this is a spot where you just have to lock in Luka on FanDuel tonight. So KD ends up being the odd man out there for me, or you could end up coming off Harden. But personally, I like the value much better at the small forward position tonight than I do at the shooting guard position on FanDuel.
Love it. There you go, Keith. So use that information and come back to us. That is literally why we're here. Brian, Steph, Damian Lee, Jeff Green, James Johnson, KD, Luca, Josh Green. You got the green combo. I like that. And RC. Just to switch off Harden if Steph goes off.
If you're playing Steph, I would fully commit to that game. We're gonna talk about that game in a little bit there, I assume. But if you're, I would run that with either LeBron or AD and just pray that whatever's expected in the first game doesn't happen. So yeah, if you're going Steph over Harden or over any one of these other guys, I mean, you do have KD in your lineup, but basically if you're going and you don't have Giannis in there, so for me it's less so Steph over Harden. It's more that you took Steph over Giannis. If you're not expecting Giannis to go absolutely bonkers, you might as well come off KD and go to Anthony Davis or LeBron.
You heard it here first, folks. Let's look. Drea, what's up, Drea? Appreciate you. Appreciate the heck out of you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to disrespect you like that. So you're not playing Luka in your main lineup? KP is in. Looks like he's going to be limited, but how are you feeling about it?
I don't even know myself yet. Michael knows I literally get off air and
it's true.
It's crunch time for me. So right now it's a very in my dummy build right now. I have Harden, KD, and Giannis, but I have exactly $200 left over to go from Harden to Luka. So it's gonna be a true game time decision. Really depends how I feel about the beard tonight. But I like there's one thing about James Harden that I'll say, like, just when I first started in DFS, this was over 5-6 years ago, I would say, I would play James Harden on every single slate. He was one of my favorite players growing up, and I would play him on every single slate. So I have this like little connection, me and James Harden in DFS, where I have to play him. So especially in a spot like this, it's going to be pretty tough for me to get off James Harden.
I love it. And I'm sorry, I'm just putting in the same game parlay right now. Brooklyn money line, James Harden over 3.5, and the over on FanDuel is nice. They give you 239.
What's James Harden's PRA? Can you check that for me?
You can't do PRAs in the same game parlay for some reason. It's just points or rebounds or assists or made threes. It's really stupid.
This is why I'm happy I don't have FanDuel Sportsbook now.
I mean, I'll take it. It's plus 634. So this is a nice, couple dollar bet. I love parlays because I literally just like make the most ridiculous ones. We had on our group chat yesterday, we had one that was like plus 15,000. It didn't hit, but you put $1 on that, you walk away with 151 bucks.
I mean,
and if you hit a couple of them, you can just cash out for like $80 sometimes. So,
if I had access to both those books, like I see the promos that they run and the odds that they have, and I'm like, man, I would be all over that every single day. So I'm thankful that I don't have access to it at least yet.
It is very silly to say the least. Shit, I forgot to opt in for the same game parlay though. Let me do it again. No. All right, cool. Sorry, guys. Was just putting in my bets.
I'm playing Luka in my main, possibly. Long story short, possibly. It's between him and Harden. I have $200 left. It's a quick pivot. I'm gonna probably do it at 729 and then regret it at 731. That's just the way NBA DFS is.
That's the way. DeAndre Jordan, a good play. Check the model. Yeah. And model says yes. So there's no center. They literally don't have a center on the roster outside of DeAndre.
They don't have a 5. And somebody one thing I'll say like very quickly about DeAndre Jordan, is he going to go out to the 3-point line to guard Brook Lopez? Absolutely not. There's no way that's happening. But when they miss shots, and Milwaukee misses a lot of shots because they take a lot of shots, DeAndre Jordan's going to be able to grab those rebounds. And that's exactly what we need. This is a guy that can legitimately finish, even if he only drops 4 points or 6 points, he like this is a game where he could get 15 rebounds. So I like it.
You'll love to see it. Let's see. Oh, Adam already put the same game parlay in, so I'm in with you, buddy. Let's let that bad boy ride.
Ride or die.
I'm about to throw in the parlay for the Mavs.
Get jiggy with it.
Let's go. Luka, Archie, Harden, Dante DiVincenzo, Boo Radley, Temple, ABC, Johnson, Wiseman. ABC is Giannis.
He loves James Wiseman. He plays him on every slate. He's like, it's a Wiseman slate. So
okay.
James Wiseman is actually he's grading out fairly decent on a slate like this. And with how bad center is on FanDuel, I know you play exclusively on FanDuel, and then with how booty cheeks FanDuel has been doing lately, you're telling me you might want to go over to DraftKings. So you'll see that you might not want to play guys like James Wiseman over there because not only are they overpriced, but you get these dual eligible players where you don't even have to play center because it's by far the worst position on FanDuel. It's just terrible every single slate. So it's a good lineup. One guy that I might want to try and get off of, depending on if he's grading out well or not on the model, would be Garrett Temple. But the rest looks good. Again, Dante Vincenzo, like, not the sexiest play, but if I'm not mistaken, I think he's like 4,500 on FanDuel tonight. So it's a guy that can just based off the game environment alone that he's in, you'll be able to see him hit value and what he allows you to do with the rest of your build. The fact that you're able to get Luka, Harden, and Giannis in there with a couple other starters, and then on top of that you have OG Anunoby. I like it.
You love it. You love it. Adam is here for us. Harden is 44.5 on DraftKings. That is his PRA. So take the over on that. I love this bankroll management, bud. I love this bankroll management. Talk French to us, Ghost.
Le marteau de soir. Absolutely. Ooh. Absolutely.
I don't know what that means.
It means the late night hammer. We talk about it all the time where you have to have shares of the last game and everyone talks about the late night hammer. So we were joking about it in French and I was like, Le marteau de soir. And then I told them I'll write the article in French last time to about a good laugh. So
I love it.
Le marteau de soir. Absolutely.
Give us one article in French at some point. All right, couple minutes here. Last game, Golden State Lakers. Your boy Steph Curry, only 9,800. LeBron James, Anthony Davis, still questionable. And how much Andrew Wiggins are you playing, Ghost?
He could be like, you know what, that build where I'm like, oh man, I have to find like which one of these guys are going to get 15 to 20 minutes and find value. Andrew Wiggins could be $3,000 and I still wouldn't play him.
Love it.
Like you could tell me that Curry's out. 36 minutes, Andrew Wiggins running the offense, I would still not play him. I'd rather play Josh Green. Like I cannot play Andrew Wiggins. And it says a lot because he's Canadian too.
That's true. He's Canadian.
RJ Barrett, another crazy performance tonight.
Do you love our Canucks? All right, talk to me. What else about this game? Is there anything else that you're interested in?
This game's really tough. This is a spot where it's getting little to no love on a slate like this, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
I mean, Milwaukee, Brooklyn, and Houston, Chicago. I would say it's like, probably 60% Milwaukee, Brooklyn, 20/20 Dallas, Toronto, and Houston, Chicago, just based on like value. But then obviously Luka's pulling a lot of ownership too, and like barely anybody's playing Golden State and the Lakers tonight. It's really tough for me to get there. The one thing that I did point out in my article today is that Anthony Davis is 9,300. We're talking about guys like Zach LaVine being 95. Christian Wood is almost $9,000. Like, this is a slate where if you look at the winning lineup and they're like, okay, who is the 5% owned guy? And you see Anthony Davis at 9,300, where he is always 10.5K and more. This is a Trae Young situation for me. And the Warriors are so bad inside. Like, they're bad in general on defense there. Like, let's not sugarcoat it. I absolutely love watching the Warriors. You love watching the Warriors. I've loved the Warriors since the Baron Davis, Josh Richardson combo. That was so fun for me growing up.
You gotta believe, baby. You gotta believe.
You gotta believe. The Believe Warriors were something that, that's when I really started getting hyped into the NBA. So I love the Warriors, but they suck on D. Let's just wait with Klay Thompson not in that lineup. It drastically shifts them. Draymond's out there still doing his thing. I mean, is he dropping triple doubles like he was a couple of years ago? No, absolutely not. But he has come close a couple of games, and you know what? He's out there and he's the main communicator on the defensive end of the ball, and he's really going out there and teaching guys like James Wiseman and really making sure that they're learning the ropes and growing as players that they want to be. It's just, for me, it's tough for me to get in the spot outside of Anthony Davis. But then if you play Anthony Davis, you want to play Steph because you want them going back and forth. So that's what I was saying with the other lineup before when Brian posted Steph over Harden. It's like, if you're going Steph and he's going nuts, LeBron and AD are going to be in there. So I like the matchup of AD inside, but then you also have LeBron and Curry. They've been, probably one of, if not the greatest rivalries in the NBA in the past decade, I would say. Like off the top of my head, not thinking of too many of them, whether it was Christmas Day game battles or NBA finals for like 100 years in a row. It was Cavs Warriors, right? So it was LeBron and Steph. This is a game where they could both show up. I'm personally not on this game just because of how much I love those other games. Like, it's hard enough for me to decide between Luka, Harden, KD, and Giannis, to the fact that now I'm talking about playing Curry and AD over all four of them instead of grabbing 3 out of the 4. Like, I could barely choose 3 out of the 4. I'm not adding Curry and AD or LeBron to the mix. You got to plant your flag somewhere, and this is one where I'm crossing off. Unfortunately, there won't be a marteau de soir tonight. That's for sure.
Marteau de soir, is that how you say it?
Marteau.
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 Yeah, there you go. De soir, like it's de soir.
De soir. But you didn't have
the slang is the slang is like you put the apostrophe and it's like you say it all one word.
I like it.
Marteau de soir. Yeah.
French is pretty fucking hot, I do have to say. That's awesome. Very cool. Awesome. Well, last question, unless we get a couple more. Eric Gordon, a good play? Check the model.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in Eric Gordon. Like I said, it's gonna be bombs away for a guy like that. I mean, they don't really have many other shooters. I mean, Christian Wood's gonna get his on the offensive end. Boogie's probably gonna be a bit more involved. But when we're looking at strictly the backcourt situation, Oladipo's gonna eat, and then they don't really have anybody else. So it would not surprise me to at least see Eric Gordon chuck up 15 shots tonight.
And can we leave people with the highest rated value play on the model?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Today, I don't know if we talked about him too much, but James Johnson at 5K in that Dallas game. Sorry.
Revenge spot.
Yeah. You did talk about it. So he's a little over 6.5. So make sure to go check that out. So Ghostman, where can everybody find you on the internet in case they want to talk about those Raptors a little bit more?
DFS_Ghost over on Twitter, and of course with the Win Daily Sports team. You could find all my content there, the projection model. I'm always hanging out with the boys and all the subs. We're there all day.
And the gift game is on point. Make sure to follow him at DFS_Ghost. One more time, follow us at Win Daily Sports. Check out windailysports.com if you want to hang out in that expert Discord chat and not just say thoughts and just, have a fun conversation with us. windailysports.com/chat. You get 7 free days in that expert Discord chat. No Roosling Paving and Concrete for all your paving and concrete needs. Still got my hat. It's right here. So hopefully he comes back and everything's cool. And he's making a bunch of money paving and concreting stuff, I guess. Make sure to follow me at Michael Raziel 1. I don't know what you do with concrete. You concrete stuff, I guess. I don't know. So make sure to follow me at Michael Raziel 1. Make sure to follow Rocker at the DFS Nerd. Rock, I hope you're still out there. Wish me happy birthday, you son of a bitch. And I think that's about it. If you didn't hit that like button, please do. That always helps. Appreciate our friends over here at HNB Media TV. So thank you to everyone in the chat, Adam included, him hanging out, telling us a couple stuff, having me, exciting me to bet a couple more times. So I did that. So now I'm going to go over to the group chat, tell all the boys to take it. So hopefully this shit better hit. For Ghost, for myself, for the chat, for everyone over here at Win Daily Sports at HNB Media TV, we appreciate each and every one of you. And we hope you make it a very profitable MLK day in the NBA.